Right, welcome back everyone to the Myth Machine channel and Delta Green Puppet Shows and Shadow Plays, a classic story for Delta Green. Case file, scenario, op, what do we call it in this game? All of the above? Yes, all of the above. So if you're a Delta Green fan, chances are you might have played it. Unless you're a new Delta Green fan, then you probably didn't play it, because this was published in the early 1990s, my friends. So it's old as dirt, quite simply. But it's how Delta Green more or less started. There's actually one other that was run before this one. But in the very first book published for this game was this, and it was the introduction scenario for people who have never experienced it before and haven't become Delta Green agents yet. Before we dive into this, remember to follow the channel. Communications with ACEL goes through the chat. Subscribe to YouTube, ring the bell icon, comment in the comment section, and ACEL will answer. Possibly. We don't even know what ACEL is yet, though, because these agents have not yet been introduced to Delta Green. They are just FBI agents, completely oblivious to, well, not completely oblivious to the unnatural and the horrible things, because they've had some experiences with that before, haven't they? This is also rated R because of cosmic horror of all kinds. Delta Green is a horror game and not afraid of it, let's just say. So, you've been warned. I'm Mikael Hellstrom, and I'm your handler. Who is with us this lovely day?
I am Darian, playing Special Agent Brian Fenton.
What does Brian Fenton do as a specialty?
Brian Fenton is a special agent with the Violent Crimes Division and a hobby occultist, or more than hobby, I suppose.
I'm sure that's never gonna, hurt him at all. Oh, right. Didn't he read some books that kind of gave him a headache and also made him, sick up a little bit and all that?
Yeah, he's been drawing, protective sigils on doors ever since. They don't even do anything.
They do things. He's convinced that they do things, so they must be doing things. That's how it works, isn't it? All right. Who else is with us? Don't everybody speak at once.
I'm Harper. I play Cora Franny Talbot, lifelong forklift enthusiast.
And yeah, that she's also interested in the occult now, is she?
Yeah.
A little bit.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah,
she is undoing all of Fenton's therapy.
Good for her. Yeah. They had a weird case a few years ago, down by the Mexican Gulf, the Gulf of Mexico. Not changing the name up here because we're Canadians. Next, Briar, Carol, who wants to go first?
I don't mind going.
Go ahead.
Hi, I'm Briar. I am playing Dr. Alex Blair. Well, the doctor is a given of what she does.
The doc, yes. She's the doc. She's the medic. She's there to patch everyone up once they have been eaten by Cthulhu. Maybe that's gonna be too late, though. And last but not least, that will be you, Carol. No. Did something
I just had a stroke.
Okay.
I just completely forgot my character's name for a... I'm playing Bridget DeLuca, the IT girl. She learned her lesson this time. When they pulled up to dig a car out of the desert, she stayed in the truck.
It was a good move, because there was lots of stinky dead person in that car, wasn't there? Yeah, she's outdoors, she is in a desert, she's in a truck, she's doing field work away from her desk and her computer. Best time ever, right?
It's wise. She's making unwise life decisions.
I can't see anything unwise by this at all. So, what happened last time? Do we remember?
I got to use a not forklift, backhoe.
Yes! Franny got to use a backhoe! Well, so we started with the Big A Ranch and the findings of horrible things. Lots of dead people. And sheep. So many dead sheep. So many dead sheep. And they were exsanguinated, they were tranquilized. I mean, once you... And there were coyote tracks all over the place. And once you got everything back to San Carlos and you were doing the autopsies and all the lab work and everybody was failing again with various checks, things did not line up really. The tranquilizer was impossible because it contained elements that can't be found on the periodic table, apparently, like completely unknown elements. At least that's what Dr. Gutierrez says, the medical examiner. Dr. Blair was, I don't know, she found some interesting details around the whole, like how the toxin interacted with the nervous system of the victims. They were induced with various strong emotions while paralyzed and slowly killed, which is also an interesting way of killing people, I suppose. And later, the next day, it was a long day and night, right? Where we had 24 sheep, one single coyote dug up the sheep and the big A's. The other disappeared victims are still gone. And then you were working on various things in the morning thereafter, and by early afternoon, Major Garrett was not too pleased that you informed him about the find of the big A's the day after you found them, instead of right away. So I guess you're stuck with the state troopers, or is a bit hurt, for lack of a better word. But they did find something too, the state troopers, and that was the buried car, where, yeah, Franny got to use a backhoe to dig up the vehicle in question. Apparently the roof was exposed by coyote tracks. Was it the same coyote? Maybe? And once the car was exposed, you could look into it, and you found a dead body that had been eviscerated, literally. Like the stomach was just ripped open, all the intestines in the front seat over the knees. Very ripe. This body had been there in the desert for some weeks. You don't know exactly how long just yet, but you pretty much need to get the body on the slab in San Carlos to do a more thorough investigation. Done some forensics, 2 sets of fingerprints inside the vehicle, driver's license, registration in the name on the driver's license of one Braverman from Houston, Texas. And I think that's kind of where we left off, wasn't it?
We were on our way, I believe, to the Stoltz and Martin campsite, on our way back to San Carlos.
Right. So, yeah, that's where we're gonna go then. Stoltz and Martin. I mean, it's not a very long trip to get there. Yeah.
Run into the coyote in the middle of burying or digging something up.
That's what you're hoping for, of course.
That would be funny.
I suppose it would be.
Yes.
Interrupt it in the middle of being like, God, they need more clues. Stupid humans.
Right. Well, since you are now no longer by the car, and of course they're gonna transport the car to... Here's the trick. Major Garrett considers this his scene, so he would want to ship the body and the car to Phoenix for the medical examiner there, which is, you know, hours away, as opposed to going to San Carlos, because that's not in his jurisdiction. Are we gonna deal with that in any way, or are we gonna let them do this? Is that...
How far away is Phoenix?
Well, if we look at the map here, you will find that you are currently over here, and Phoenix is over here.
Maybe we
So-
try to convince him. Sorry.
Drive
Whereas
all that way.
San Carlos is over there, so it's quite a bit closer.
Maybe
Okay,
we
but the other bodies are in San Carlos, right?
Absolutely, because they're under tribal police jurisdiction.
We convince him we need the bodies together for scientific comparison.
Ah! Who's going to
Medical
convince him
jargon.
of that?
Doctor, say long medical words.
Say all the medical words. Who's the best
has to
among
hire-
you?
Hypothalamus.
Right. As it turns out, yeah, okay. Assisted by Dr. Blair's medical words, who wants to say this to Major Garrett? You already have like a... I'm going to say it's a -20 because he's grumpy and kind of not happy with you at this moment. But medical words help with a +20. So it's plus minus everything. So plus minus 0. So who's going to do the persuade here? Is it going to be Talbot or DeLuca? DeLuca is actually the best persuader in the group. But Talbot
Right.
had a backhoe, which is very impressive. So that gives you a +20. Because, you know, that means that you can drive a... Yeah, heavy machinery is impressive for this guy. So I guess...
Answer or I'll bury you.
Right? So if you right-click on your persuade and give yourself a +20 there... Franny, I think you might just...
Sorry, I goofed on that. Oh.
No, that worked.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was about to ask DeLuca if she could help with bureaucracy, but apparently...
You know, that's an idea. But after, I'm pretty sure that when Blair starts trying to explain things, Garrett is immediately going to go like, oh, what are you talking about? This is my jurisdiction here, and I ain't going to have, you know, the paperwork I'll have to go through if I have it. Can't place the state police. This is not your show, feds. This is not your show. So it's the classical reaction to, you know, the interdepartmental pissing contest, basically. But
Yeah, but formaldehyde.
formaldehyde, yes. But then Talbot says magic words. What magic words are Talbot saying?
Backhoe. I'm just kidding.
But aside from that,
Sorry, I had to. She says, like, you know, we have all found these bodies. These were once people. We can't let department feuds get in the way of us solving these clearly connected murders.
you know,
we need
he's
to have the
he's gonna be like, well, I suppose you're right, but once you're done with them, they go to Phoenix, right?
Yes. Yep, and then after that, I presume they go to the next of kin.
Yeah, for sure. Well, when the
Yeah.
investigation is done and we're done with everything, absolutely.
Yeah, of course.
So that's one bullet dodged. Well,
I'll be right back. I'm gonna try updating my laptop and see if that's the issue.
for sure. Meanwhile, yeah, we have some connectivity issue here for a player, but she'll be right back. They'll be right back. What was I gonna say? I was gonna say we're going out to the reservoir, as it were. Well, it's a lake-ish, you know. It's the lake where... Okay, we're going back to this map again, aren't we? We're going back to this map all the time. This is the map here. The Stoltz and Martin site. Where the two ex-high school buddies, not buddies, well, they're buddies now, but, you know, disappeared. All their camping equipment and everything is with the state police, but, I mean, you checked all the evidence from everything that had gathered there before you went out to the desert and found absolutely nothing interesting, and neither did the police, so go figure. And yeah, we're getting out there to... It's just after 6 p.m. I have a feeling that some of your stomachs will start growling a bit, wanting for some nourishment. A nice supper at the end of the day, but we're dedicated people here, aren't we, agents? The work. I'm gonna burn all the candles from both ends, right? No?
That's as much as on a bag of peanuts in the car.
Yeah, what are you talking about? I have like, my purse is full of granola bars.
There we go. Your
No wallet, no keys, just Kind bars.
That's gonna do the trick. But yeah, we're going out into that desert there, and next to the lake. It's a lake, very peaceful, very calm. The waters are still. Ooh, still waters, are they? We know what that means. We don't really know what that means.
They run deep.
I guess.
They're incredibly dangerous.
Actually, they don't run very deep here because it's a fairly shallow lake, I think.
Sharks.
I mean, compared to some others, it's even. Yeah, it's really more of a river that has been dammed up than an actual lake. So it's an artificial lake because it's a reservoir, right? So it used to be a river and now it's a reservoir.
Fake lake.
What was that?
It's a fake lake out here
Fake
pretending to be a lake and it's not.
Pretending to be, yeah.
Shifty, I tell ya.
Sounds like the perfect lair for the fox.
Right? Very flat
in-
lands around here. I mean, you can have, in the distance, there will be some hills and not a tree in sight, really. Some scrub lands. Water. It looks very undisturbed. Just, yeah.
Alright, can we, I guess, start at the campsite?
You can indeed. I mean, you have a map, and I suppose there's still some like police, yellow tape running across the area, but they've cleared it out, so you're just gonna see the remains of it, really, like a few straps of yellow tape cording off the area where it happened, or where they used to camp. At least we don't know where any crime might have actually happened. Aside, they just disappeared. That's all we know at this particular moment. But yeah, there's nothing there. Some truck tracks, because obviously there was traffic here when the police came and did their thing. And yeah, that's about it, really. Everything is gravel around here. Yeah.
Any piles of gravel?
Nope, no piles of gravel here.
Alright. Guess search the campsite for any evidence or anything that the police might have missed.
Look into the distance for piles 10 feet out of where the police looked.
Or maybe even more than 10 feet. It could be
10 feet
yards
would be
away.
funnier.
Or even, a whole, maybe a quarter mile, a half a mile. You never know.
We've got radios, so we could probably split up a bit in pairs and cover more ground. See if we can find anything.
You could, yeah. Yeah, you do have radios.
Quit rolling things.
I'm not rolling. Maybe. Are you rolling? Am I rolling? Who knows who's rolling?
Oh no.
You are. You can tell the dice have question marks because they're mystery dice.
Aren't
My
they
dice
just?
don't have question marks.
All right, yeah,
I'm not a coward like you. I roll in the open.
My dice aren't confused.
All right, first, can I do like a
Oh.
once over of the campsite just to see if there's anything the police might have missed?
Absolutely.
All right, what would you like me to roll for that?
Well, why don't you roll a search check, I guess?
Why are you still rolling? Why don't you love us?
I do love you.
Ah, just missed it.
I love all my players.
Tell us the dice secrets.
Mm-hmm. In the words of a famous person in a comedy movie, you ain't found shit.
Oh, okay, it's Spaceballs. I'm trying to remember what that was.
Yes, that was Spaceballs. A
We ain't
completely
found
wrong reference in this particular type of game, but, you know, couldn't help myself. Yeah,
All right,
no.
just
Baseball
turn to-
references are always correct.
Benson will just sigh and go, I ain't found shit. How old is that movie? Is it out
Spaceballs
yet?
was released in the 80s, so
Was.
technically you
Okay,
could have you could have seen it.
Yep.
Because this is August 8th, 1994. It's Spaceballs is all of like, I don't know, 5 or 6 years old by now.
Then he'll pull out a giant comb and go, shall we comb the area?
Oh my god. What have I done? Anyway.
Oh no.
I walk into the desert to escape him.
Wise move. How long
Yes,
do we
that's
want to
right.
spend
They
out
go
here,
In
my friends?
the desert, we had a comb. That was right. See, she knows.
Yep.
Barney's just like, where did you get this? Where are the magic pockets?
All right.
Where did I find magic? Sorry.
We're looking through the desert as carefully as you can possibly do it. And what kind of radius are we talking about here? Like, are we gonna do like a mile or a quarter mile or how far?
I think we judge it by how far away the bodies were from the Big A Ranch.
Right. Yeah, they were maybe half a mile max. Yeah. So try the same here. Not a bad idea. And we remember the buried car was in fact like, what is it? Like almost 9 miles from the highway, according to my thing here, which probably was an incorrect placement by me, but never mind that. Because the car is in fact...
You could see it from the highway.
Yeah, it's supposed to be 1 kilometer from the... So that was my writing that was incorrect. It's more like there. Yeah.
Could it be that the bodies are in similar distance as relative to the highway rather than as relative to where they were last seen?
I mean, the ranch is pretty far off the highway.
I mean, in both cases, they are within a mile of an objective, I guess. So within a mile of the Big A Ranch, within a mile of the highway. So I guess within a mile of Stoltz and Martin would fit a pattern, if that's the pattern we have. Remember, we don't only have 2 data points so far. So
The data points do not match.
there are several discrepancies between the data points.
In fact, if you were looking at them without knowing there were 12 disappearances, you'd be like, oh, there are 2 separate murderers out here.
Yep, probably. Yep. I mean, you've already done a criminology check, and it's just absolutely bewildering at this moment, isn't it? Anyway, a search of a square mile, because that's pretty much what we're talking about here, could take a while. On the other hand, you're specifically looking for mounds and or a coyote. And or coyote tracks of a particular size. Provided that we're going with the theory that it's a single coyote doing all this.
Absolutely.
I say we walk in a circle with a 1 mile radius from the campsite. That is only a 6-mile walk, and since it is pretty flat, we should be able to get a good view of any mounds in the distance.
All those in favor?
Yeah.
Very well.
Sounds good.
For whatever it's worth, Fenton's gonna have the rifle with him.
Yeah,
But yeah,
Right.
as soon as we walk away from the truck, shotgun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense. All right. We're gonna have a nice evening walk. It'll be nice. It'll be a hike, you know, in the Arizona desert. And it's nice and warm and balmy, actually like super hot. But we're all bringing our canteens of water. Or are we driving some kind of 4x4 truck this route? Driving is less likely. You're more likely to miss a mound if you drive.
The foot.
And also, there are no buzzards around like there was at the Big A Ranch, so... On the other hand, there were no buzzards around the buried car either, so...
Yeah, that's what's strange. The
Well,
lack of...
The car was contained.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but on the ranch, they weren't.
Well, the big A's weren't taken out of a car.
What
if
do you
we look
mean?
at a buried car? No,
I
they
mean, the
found
car,
this
I-
guy's car.
The car, I understand for the lack of buzzards, but when you have like 100 or so sheep and then 5 bodies just out in the open, surely there's got to be some buzzards.
There were. That's how we found it originally, because Colorado,
Yeah.
whatever his name was, he saw them circling above.
Yep.
That's what I thought, but then someone said no buzzards, and I kind of ran with it. Sorry about that.
Yeah, no, you can't see any buzzards around here. And, I mean... There were no buzzards around the buried car, but again, it was contained, so that makes more sense.
I guess we should still be on the lookout for any sort of container. You know?
Okay, as we're walking, so it's like I'm going to attempt to find a stick.
There is very likely a stick.
And then just like every 10 feet or so, I'm just gonna jab the stick into the gravelly ground.
All right. Just
Yeah.
oh, you have yeah, so a walking stick, and you're jabbing it in there, and we're walking.
in case there's a buried car or something.
In case it says clunk. But their truck was like their vehicles were at the campsite, so they've been impounded by the state patrol and everything. So their vehicles were not missing. Stoltz and Martin. Anyway, we are walking through the desert as the sun sets, and I guess we're starting up your flashlights to have a proper light as you're walking. Because when the sun comes down here, it comes down fast, and because it's more southerly, right, than in the north. And it gets very dark very fast. So, on the other, yeah, it's very little moonlight. Though, the new moon was literally yesterday. So, there's almost no light at all from the moon. This tiniest sliver in the sky. Whenever it comes up, I'm not even sure. But I'm saying you're not getting any help from the moon. And by the time you have gone through and checked this place thoroughly, it's going to be 9 p.m. Your stomachs are growling, even with the granola bars, and you haven't found anything out here. It's been a long walk. I have a feeling your legs are feeling it by now. You've been walking almost for, a couple of hours out here. And yeah, no mounds at all. No helpful coyote? Or murderous coyote? I don't know what yet. Do we know?
Which one of us can make coyote noises?
Just go like. Psst.
Time to pack it in, I guess.
That thing. Here, coyote, 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 coyote.
We have Scooby snacks.
Coyote, coyote, coyote.
Now, maybe engaging some kind of coyote spirit in the darkness in the middle of the desert might not be the best of ideas.
Well, we're out of all good ideas. So
The elders are supposed to be back tomorrow morning. Tomorrow, right?
Yep, that was the word.
So talk with them. Maybe the doctors had more breakthroughs back at the medical lab.
Not impossible. I guess we're all heading back towards San Carlos then. I mean, lab is a very strong word for the facilities Dr. Gutierrez is working with in San Carlos. If you want a fully stocked lab, you really have to go to Phoenix. But in the interest of expediting the research a bit, Dr. Gutierrez has brought as much stuff as he could from Phoenix out here on in a van. But, one has to make do with what one got. So we're going to be back in San Carlos then. And by the time you're back, it's 10 in the evening, and you're all starving. But Dr. Gutierrez is here.
Is there a 24-hour McDonald's somewhere in your back?
There's a diner, I guess?
Yes.
It's a Sunday night, and it's not going to be...
Yes.
You know what? Colorado's has been keeping some dinners available for you guys. As you're coming in, he's going to be saying that, oh, there you are. Welcome back. Yeah, I figured you might need some kind of nourishment. How did things go out there with Major Garrett?
State police found a buried vehicle and fox prints that had dug on top of it that had been digging at it. Inside
Yeah, he's gonna react to that. He's gonna react to that.
Yeah.
Do
How
we
does he
notice him reacting to that?
You're saying paw prints, right?
Yeah, paw prints.
Yeah, I think you might. I mean, at this point, you're on the lookout for such things, aren't you?
I would like to, as innocently as I can, be like, it's like normal, like coyote behavior.
No. That's all you get from him from a moment. Just no.
There was a single victim inside the car. Unlike the other victims at the ranch, this one was disemboweled.
Disemboweled. What are we dealing with here?
As far as I'm aware, it's rare for somebody to murder in one way and then murder in such a drastic different way. I'm slightly concerned we have more than one culprit.
Yeah, his eyes are gonna go up a bit, wider at that, but he just nods quietly. That could make sense. I don't know much about profiling. You understand, out here we don't have to do that kind of work a lot. I appreciate the expertise. I'm gonna send a runner up to the cave first thing tomorrow morning.
State police was supposed to send the car and the victim over here. Did they arrive?
Yeah, they did. Gutierrez is down there, so yeah, he's gonna. Yeah, Gutierrez is working on it.
Gotcha. We checked the campsite, but weren't able to find anything over there.
Did you find anything over there?
No, we weren't able to find anything.
Oh. Well, it was worth a shot. That's police work for you. Turn over 10 stones and 9 of them will got nothing.
They have, technology-wise, do they have the ability to I know nowadays they have machines that can like scan the ground and be like, there's something buried here.
Ground penetrating radar?
Yes.
When was that first? When was ground penetrating radar invented? Early 1900s. So, yes, let's see now. Military applications, affordable for widespread use in 1980s. So, yes, it is in fact available.
I suggest we see if we can get our hands on that. And
you can always
maybe send some people out to like scan the areas people have gone missing in and see if we find some more buried treasure.
Huh. So you want to call Hobson, your boss, your FBI boss?
Yeah.
Because he would probably be the guy for that type of...
I bet there's a form I can fill out that will give me that.
You know what?
And if
I think
fill out
there
the
is.
right form, I bet it'll get us some grunts to go do it while we're talking to the elders.
Right? Yeah, I mean, you can definitely... Okay, DeLuca, I know you love your bureaucracy. Go ahead and roll it to get yourself a ground-penetrating radar. And there we go. It's a success. We had dice rolling, and it worked out nicely. So, yeah, you're definitely going to get a ground-penetrating radar sent out here. Not now, mind you, because it's 10 p.m. and everything, but in the morning? How about that? Colorados will nod over the wisdom of this, and you know this is a good idea. We certainly don't have that kind of thing out here very often. We don't do much work that requires us to dig into the ground, necessarily, aside from the ranching work, of course, but not to look for cadavers in that way. The animals out here, they tend to leave their kills in the open.
Well, you gotta get some benefit from working for the government.
Ain't that the truth, he says.
You'd be amazed what the right form can do for you.
Exactly. Well, having filled out forms and having some food, is it time to have a word with Dr. Gutierrez?
Yeah.
Yep. See what he's found.
Very well. All right. Dr. Gutierrez is all too happy to talk to you guys. Well, hello again, he says. It's been a long day here. He's been working on the sheep all day, and then by the end of the day, he gets this dead body, and he was like, I'm gonna take a break now. No. Well, I understand the deceased is one Mr. Braverman, right? He says.
We believe so, yes.
Yeah, as far as I can tell, Mr. Braverman died from a massive abdominal trauma. Someone sliced a large hole in his belly, and that's the cause of death, as far as I can tell.
So there's like no sign somebody killed him and then like opened him up.
No. The only trauma on the outside is the abdominal trauma. But his lungs are missing, apparently. Yeah, they were removed post-mortem, so after he died.
Did
And
it
the-
look
Go
raw?
ahead.
Or like somebody cut them out all neat and tidy like?
Well, I mean, this is another strange body, let me just say that. First of all, like in the cases of the Bigay family and the sheep, the corpse is mostly devoid of blood, exsanguinated. Now, there would be a massive amount of bleeding following this kind of wound, but there should be still some blood left in the body, and there isn't. So that's a consistency. But there's also other strange tissue damage I can't really explain. If you look here, and he's going to point now for Dr. Blair to have a look too. See, here's the wound where his abdomen was opened, right? And the lungs were removed through this wound. But there's an enlargement here from an older wound in his abdomen. Now, this older wound, according to my calculation, is about 8 weeks old, and it was about 4 inches long, deep, cutting through the skin, fat, muscle, the abdominal wall. It had access between his lungs to his internal organs, but it was sewn shut using surgical thread.
Wait, what?
Yeah, that's what I said.
Wait, how long has he been missing?
Oh, he's been dead for, what? I'd say maybe 5 weeks.
This could have been one
Didn't
of
you
the
just
earlier.
say 8 weeks for the chest hole?
Well, he had a pre-mortem chest wound. That's 3 weeks earlier than when he died.
Does it look like it was surgical or that it was a wound that was treated by surgery?
I'd say I couldn't say that the wound was surgical as such. It's kind of rough, a bit brute forced, really, but the sewing was very expertly done, like surgical precision.
Perhaps we should ask hospitals if anyone came in with that type of injury.
Someone met with experience using surgical thread, I'd say. Any that really is any nurse, any doctor, any pathologist, veterinaries,
Based on the location, I'm inclined to believe that this wasn't a stitching that he did himself.
Now I'm not quite done here yet. Sorry, there's a lot. Okay, the glands on each kidney, the adrenal glands, where the adrenaline comes from. They were punctured by something about the size of the tip of an IV syringe.
Like the other victims.
Yeah. And there's similar penetration into the brain. There's a narrow passage from the base of the skull next to the spinal cord all the way to the amygdala in both hemispheres.
What does the amygdala do?
The amygdala is part of the limbic system. It regulates emotions. I mean, he will explain that. It regulates your emotions.
Trying to maybe make him feel panic and terror again, like the other victims.
Possibly.
Okay, so if
I haven't
we
had
know
time
they
to
were
do a
trying-
complete talk screen of him yet, but
maybe whoever we're looking for is harvesting, like, hormones or specific chemicals from the bodies for some reason.
Appears to be harvesting all the blood.
I mean, if you're going for the adrenal glands and the, like, specific parts of the brain, especially after.
I mean,
How
like,
long he been missing? When did he disappear?
About 5 weeks ago.
At
I
least
mean,
5 weeks ago, but
here's the thing,
less
folks.
than 8 weeks.
If you check your journal, you can see all the entries for all the, all the disappearing people. We even have it on the map. I can go back to the map for you guys. So, here we have all the disappearances, right? So we had Royus, Kirtley's, Stoltz and Martin, Van Olsen's, and Troutner and Ollenberg, and then the Big A Ranch. Those are the ones who are part of your briefing.
Mm-hmm.
Braverman is not part of your briefing.
Why? Oh yeah, because
Because
we
we
didn't
did-
know he was missing.
Yeah, this one was only just found.
Oh yeah.
We don't know how long this person's been missing yet, because even though we know his identity, we haven't really been able to talk to next of kin or anything with the Phoenix area.
He's from Houston, Texas.
Or Houston, sorry, that was it.
Yeah.
And yeah, so he's been dead for at least 5 weeks, to answer your question. The 8 weeks thing is he had surgery of some kind 8 weeks ago, before he died.
Apparently, yeah. I mean, Gutierrez
like-
is very confused by all this. I have no idea what's going on here, I'm afraid, agents. Yeah.
I take the lungs.
He's just shrugging. He's just baffled. Like, your guess is as good as mine at this point.
Is there a importance of lung roll?
It makes blood. I mean, it's part of the circulatory system and everything, but
I know we have so little data, but it isn't possible that whoever is out there is trying to build a person. I mean, they seem to be collecting and experimenting with emotional hormones. They seem to collect different body parts, different essential body parts from each murder. And that may be why they seem so different, because what is removed is different every single time.
have they been collecting body parts? I thought this was the first one where we had missing body parts.
Yeah, it is.
Because everybody, the family their body was perfectly intact and fine. They were just drained of all their blood.
Yep.
Exactly. It's the blood that was missing. Blood is also an essential body part. It takes about 10 pints per person to make a person.
I don't know if you can just, like, store a bunch of blood and then be like, let me just pop that back into the circulatory system.
Apparently you can. I think the Red Cross does it.
Blood has to be stored in a special way, and the blood has to be compatible with the system, so to speak. That's why there's the different blood types and stuff.
Also, you're a very lovely woman, but you just said the words, do you think somebody's trying to build a human? And I think it's time that we go to sleep.
I mean, I could have said drinkable mayonnaise, but that's what sent you over the edge.
Well. I updated your case file here with the new data from the autopsy. Gutierrez also wants some sleep.
No.
He's a bit tired by now. I think you all are. Yeah. So then I guess it's gonna be about midnight by the time you're all in fact going to sleep, isn't it? What are we doing when we're getting back to our respective rooms at the local motel, I guess? It's
Double,
not
double
very
check that
glorious.
all the protective symbols are in place and in good condition.
That makes sense. Okay, that's Fenton. What is Blair doing? Just crashing in bed? Something else?
Yep, just instantly going to bed.
Let me guess. Blair is absolutely baffled by the medicinal discoveries here. Nothing makes sense.
Yeah, she's just confused and too tired. It's bedtime.
Bedtime. DeLuca, any final activities before you close your eyes and fall into that sleep that hopefully is not forever?
One sec.
Talbot, you want to go first?
Yeah, just kind of checks everything in her room to make sure it hasn't been moved about. You know, she trusts that Fenton has the spiritual side of things covered, but that's not gonna stop some, sheriff coming in and rummaging through her notes. So.
That makes sense.
Do you want some protective sigils too? I can draw some on your door.
Yes,
Your
please.
windows. I'll show her how I do it so she can replicate it herself in the future.
Just in case. How are things going there, DeLuca?
Okay, yeah, so she gets back to her hotel room and she pulls out her, she's like, grabs the phone and she's like, it's midnight. And so she pulls out her computer and she is annoyed how long it takes to connect to the internet and she sends emails.
Because she can. Emails exist. Well, I can be very happy to inform you all that nothing horrible happens to anyone this night. You have a good night's sleep. Isn't that nice? It is now August the 9th, 1994. Progress of time. Are we all waking up at 6 a.m. or do we have some other schedule here? I mean, I know it's just 6 hours of sleep, but you have a lot of work to do, don't you?
I'd say Talbot's up by 6.
What was that?
I'd say Talbot is up by 6.
Yeah. Anyone else up at 6?
Yeah, Blair is as well.
Makes sense.
Yep.
Very well.
She wakes up and immediately goes searching for food.
In the motel room or outside it?
Outside of it.
Ah, well then. Bridget DeLuca, as you open the door, a package slips in over the threshold. It was lying, leaning against your motel room door. Dunk. It's like
How
a
big is
proper
the
manila
package?
envelope. Pretty thick.
I open the package.
Very well. A whole bunch of clippings fall out. Like a bunch of them. Newspaper clippings and magazine clippings and such like.
I begin scanning through them as I just walk to the whichever room, closest room I know has FBI agents in it, and just start knocking on the door.
Well, the first clipping you see is this one.
Huh. West
And
Virginia.
then, who's going to be the closest door then? I'm going to just roll a d3 and we'll see who happens to have the door next to DeLuca here. It turns out to be Blair.
Of course.
Of course.
West Virginia.
Yeah. The next clipping you see is going to be, well, it's a note. Looks like this. There's more clippings. There's a whole bunch of them, in fact. Here's another one.
Does that just say seppuku?
One by one, the clippings come out. I have a feeling that the entire group will soon be gathered in one of the rooms, won't you? The silence here, I take it, is all of them reading things.
Yep.
It's a lot, yeah.
It is a lot, isn't it?
So I'm also trying to figure out where Cole County is in West Virginia. I don't think it's real. Where is this theoretical Cole County, I ask? Dr. Hellstrom, where is Hull County,
Oh,
theoretically?
theoretically. In West Virginia, theoretically. I was very helpful
mean-
now, wasn't I?
I mean, where? Like, in the little handle between Ohio and Pennsylvania, or in the area, like, south of
Tree.
Pennsylvania?
It is. Hold on a moment. Let me look it up again, because I know where it is. Let's just say it's not the most populated region of the area. But it is kind of in the middle of the state.
Okay.
I mean, we are looking for all the places here, right? So I can, in fact... give you a map of all these locations, I guess, because I'm nice and kind-hearted like that.
Aliens.
Mm.
Are coyotes aliens?
This, my friend, the audience, is the typical situation in Delta Green when the agents are trying to parcel all the strange information and possibly have to roll a sanity check, you know, as agents. As players, I mean, yeah.
I asked Blair, like, did this have a return address on it? Like,
Nope.
Nope. I don't see a return address anywhere.
Nope, but there you have the map of the different locations. And, of course, you have also San Carlos Reservation marked on the map.
Is anybody else? I realize that this could just be my brain being like, oh, that's weird. But whoever wrote the note mentioned Braverman, but also used the word seppuku.
interesting.
Like,
Isn't
And every time they have a suspect to disappearances, the suspect commits suicide.
I don't mean to discredit this, but this was on the other side of the country. How?
but are we gonna find out Braverman is originally from West Virginia?
His driver's license says Houston, Texas.
People move.
Hold
They
on.
do, yeah.
We said Friday was from West Virginia. Is there a chance she would know him? Or at least have
Know of the
know of the
appearances.
the cannibal stuff.
This happened, like, this year. I don't think Franny... I mean, were you in West Virginia back home this year?
I think so, yeah. I went back to spend the holidays with Finley.
It might have registered... maybe. Roll a luck check. I don't know. If you were paying attention to all the nonsense in, you know, gossip rags that you can pick up next to the counter at your local superstore, I think you would be... But yeah, maybe you do remember seeing something about, you know, Satanist star travelers and yada yada. I don't think you paid attention to it at the moment, because who would? It's absolute nonsense, right?
Yeah, no.
It-
Yeah,
it's-
like Satanist star.
How
like,
often do you read National Enquirer? Like,
Yeah, like Satanism, stars, cannibals. Like it just all sounds like satanic panic just trying to make a resurgence. You know.
Yep. And I mean,
Well,
after
it's
all, it was
moving with.
the case was closed, right? So
yeah,
It
it's
seems
just
like
small town nonsense.
it's taking hosts and moving with them. Like,
That
so the first person was Mac Tooley. Police had reason to believe it was Tooley. They were going to arrest him, and Tooley shot and killed himself. The medical examiner did the autopsy on Tooley, and then, without notice or without written resignation or anything, just up and quit. Moved to Tennessee, disappeared. Then the next start of the disappearances was Father Willard Fellow, who was in Tennessee, Nashville, Tennessee, where the medical examiner disappeared at. And he ended up committing suicide. After the police started to suspect him, he committed suicide. And then it's Elijah Jackson, who lived at Bartholomew's shelter. He went to New Orleans. I believe, was he the one that went to New Orleans, okay, no, in Bartholomew's, but in New Orleans, French Court got it. So David Clark is the guy who kills Jackson, and then Clark moves away and suddenly disappears. David Clark moved to, who was our victim? Because
the guy you found in the car, Braverman.
Yeah, what was Braveman?
Yeah.
So David Clark infected Braveman, and Braveman's infected something else, or it's moved to something else. Because Clark went to Houston, that's where Braveman is from. And then we had two different prints inside that car, so maybe that was Clark's prints or somebody, I don't know. Either way, whatever this thing is, it's moving with its victims, it seems like. It's moving to a new victim every time, and the new victim commits suicide every time. Braveman disemboweled himself, so like you would do a seppuku.
Still, that then begs the question: is this
Did
thing
not
trying
take
to?
his own lungs.
What was that?
Raymond did not take his own lungs.
But what if something was put inside of him? He had some type of careful surgery a few weeks prior, and it seems like whatever it is, it's moving with the people.
Is it possible that this thing is trying to make its own host that it doesn't need to fight with for autonomy? Like, for example, taking the blood, taking the lungs. Could it be that the B-Gays and Braverman share a blood type, or are at least compatible with each other?
Luca's just staring at you guys as you're discussing just
Oh, you act like you've never read
This?
Frankenstein before. Calm down.
it's just like,
Oh my god.
guys, like, literally the second somebody was like, there might be crazy alien monsters, you guys were like, yes, I'm down for that.
Look, what's more plausible? Aliens or someone trying to Frankenstein together a human being?
How do you think somebody's trying to make a human? We have no evidence of this.
We have missing body parts.
We have missing blood and lungs. That does not make human. Do you have any idea how often serial killers take body parts?
Yes, but they usually take the same one. I guarantee you the next body we find is going to be missing a kidney or something.
It better not be. And we're not there. This is not a Frankenstein situation.
So I think the ones that have, so let's say there is a host, it's a host kind of thing, or some creature that's inside of them or something. It seems to be that whatever the host is that it moves with is the one that gets brutally murdered, and the disappearances are its victims. Maybe it's feeding on them.
Okay, there's one potential issue with your idea of hosts traveling and transferring thing.
Mm-hmm.
The last line of the note.
Braverman was not the first, and he won't be the last.
Like,
It's already moved from Braverman to a new one. Because every time it seems to move, whatever it is, whether it's something inside these people or connected to people, maybe it's just taking their forms for all we know. But every time it moves is when the previous one dies, and it moves to somebody who is closely connected with the body. So the first one Like Dr. Brenson, he did the autopsy on Mac Tooley, who Tooley committed suicide. We don't know what happened to Brenson. Brenson just ups and disappears. But wherever he disappeared, Father Willard in Tennessee, that's not Tennessee, and that's where Father Willard began making people disappear. Well, they figured out it was Willard, and Willard committed suicide. Seppuku, he fucking disemboweled himself. The next person to seemingly have this was somebody who was staying at one of Bartholomew's. That guy attacks David Clark, who kills him. And then David Clark disappears. And so he's found disemboweled in a hotel room in Houston. And then this Braverman fellow, who is from Houston, has disappeared. Now we find him buried in his car, also disemboweled.
Also a problem with, like, the idea that Braverman just disemboweled himself. Which is that the car was not flooded in blood.
Thought it was.
Well, there was also that deep cut wound from eight weeks ago that clearly cut deep. That
He
could
did
have
not
been him
survive
tempting.
for 3
That's the-
weeks with no blood in his body. So, like, somebody definitely took out most of that blood before he disemboweled himself.
And I think it's no coincidence that a common theme in the death here is disembowelment. And also, one of the victims was a medical examiner. So this thing knows how to remove body parts, and it does that frequently when it wants to get out or get rid of a host. And I think perhaps the reason, other than to avoid capture, that it switches hosts is perhaps it no longer has control of the host.
I just had a thought.
Yes?
If this thing is an alien or some sort of creature from a meteor shower from West Virginia, and now we got coyotes, and the coyotes seems to be trying to be like, hey, look at this thing that the West Virginia alien is doing. Maybe the West Virginia alien wandered into the coyote's territory.
Yeah. Maybe the coyote just wants to upkeep some sort of natural order.
Didn't
Also,
the legend of the
Why are they
coyotes
burying the bodies now? The first set of bodies were like hung from trees.
Maybe it wants to get more subtle. I suspect it learns things from each new host.
I feel like I'm talking to. I feel like I missed like several weeks of classes. Like, I went into a class and they were like, haha, monsters exist. And then I got a horrible disease. And when I came back, everybody's like, yes. This type of monster behaves like this. This type behaves like this. If we're dealing with monsters, like, we don't know how monsters behave. We have no reason to be like, yes, they will follow this path of logic.
Oh, but we can see patterns. There's clearly a pattern here.
Well, the first guy shot himself.
Mm-hmm.
And then he moved to a body that knew how to remove.
Then he was cut open during autopsy.
Yeah.
So you think he, whatever this thing is, like, went, oh, that's what they do.
Not necessarily, but
Yes.
the first guy shot himself, and maybe the thing was trapped inside until the doctor cut him out. I mean, we saw that there was some, like, what if it's, we saw like the puncture wounds and stuff in the brain, and was it the spinal column as well or something?
And the adrenal glands.
Adrenal glands.
Yep.
So what if it's controlling them through that way? What if it's
But
like
then would-
hooking itself up inside of their systems and controlling them?
But then wouldn't it be visible if it has to puncture from the outside?
What was that?
But then wouldn't it be visible if it has to puncture from the outside instead of working
no,
from the inside?
I think it might be internal. Like, I think maybe, like, you know,
Punctures. The guy said he found puncture wound on the outside, leading to the brains, the bit of the brain
oh, I thought
that
that
does
was
the
internal
emotions.
puncture.
I mean, it'd be weird if he got stabbed in the brain and then his brain got sucked.
But it seems like, what if maybe it is something that's inside of them, and the disemboweling is how it gets out or moves?
That could be possible. It could also be that those puncture wounds were from the creature using its anatomical knowledge gained from the medical examiner to extract mood-regulating hormones from the brain, perhaps.
Well, we also know that the strange chemical thing, right, that it put in there makes people experience like extreme amounts of fear. So what if it is feeding off blood or whatever, and that fear sensation and feeling or emotion or whatever, that's what, makes the blood extra tasty for it.
Possibly.
That is the
And-
case, then we don't know who it jumped to after Braverman.
Hey guys,
Yes, it's definitely moved to someone else.
who wrote the note?
I don't think we know who sent this package.
But like, we keep talking about who did this or like what this thing is, but like, somebody wrote this note,
Yeah.
and like,
Somebody has to follow me.
I like you guys keep doing what you're doing. I'm just gonna take a little to walk down to the hotel front desk and see if they have security cameras.
Around here? No.
Might be worth
You're-
asking Colorado's if there's been anybody new in town, because whoever this is has been following this.
But then how did this thing then get to the other victims in such quick succession?
Well, every time it moves to their victim, it's somebody who was around that victim when they died.
But that would then mean that whoever was in his car then also had to be part of the other murder scenes.
Not necessarily. It's just so it. Like I said, it started with Thule first, right?
Mhm.
Thule shot himself in the head, but the medical examiner, while doing an autopsy, is the next one who gets it. And then after the autopsy, the medical examiner suddenly, without reason, just ups and disappears. We don't know what happened to the examiner. He's still disappeared. But in the city he went to, Nashville, is where now it's with the father, who runs the shelter. Well, the father commits suicide and commits seppuku, like disembowels himself. One of the people at his shelter is the next one who gets it, goes to Houston. Or no, he attacks Clark. He attacks Clark. Clark kills him, and then after Clark disappears, he's found in Houston, where he's also disemboweled himself. Braverman is from Houston, so clearly it moved from Clark to Braverman. Braverman came out here. Remember, there were two prints in that car. We now have another missing person from that vehicle, and Braverman's body left behind.
Yes, but that means that if this creature is what caused the other murder scenes, then the other person in Braveman's car had to be one of our other victims.
No, he didn't. It could be somebody new that Braverman found or picked up.
Then they would also be missing, and then they would also have to transfer the creature into one of the other murder victims that we have here.
No, all the victims are connected by this single chain. It's just a single person chain.
Yes, but we also have to account for the fact that we have, 12 other missing people on this highway?
Yeah, those are
Well-
whatever it's feeding off of. Because in every other scene, there's been also a series of disappearances and deaths. So I think there's the single host, and then it's feeding off of victims in the local area. So it moved from Braverman to whatever its current host is, and that's the thing that's wreaking havoc in the area.
Do you
So is
think?
it possible
Okay.
that Braveman was doing all of these things?
No, I think Braveman was left behind shortly after it came to the area.
Okay.
Like I said, it's clearly jumped to a new host, whatever this thing is. And that's whatever is causing all our havoc and terror. Until it decides to move to yet another host.
I,
But if it's feeding off the blood, then
I
why
didn't
take the
get breakfast.
Then why what?
Take the lungs.
What if it didn't take the lungs? What if? So let's say, what if there is a physical thing and it's actually inside, like a creature inside of the people? What if that's just the spot where it kind of inserts itself in the body as the place of love? Because we haven't actually been able to inspect the state of the other disemboweled hosts.
You think he just was like chilling without lungs?
I don't think there's anything natural to him. It might just be like a suit, so to speak.
But then how would the person who stitched him up not have noticed that he was lacking in lungs?
Well, maybe there is more to it.
Possibly. Maybe he was infected after the injury. Or maybe this thing just hadn't taken his lungs yet.
Yeah, I don't know. It seems like if it is a creature, it seems like there's something inside these people, and when they're getting disemboweled, is how it's getting out and moving.
Was there
Yeah.
a timeline for the last person in the chain before
Like how
Braverman?
long before it switches?
Like perhaps 8 weeks ago?
Well,
All these things too. So, like a Satanist Star Traveler behind the West Virginia thing. Oh, I think that's just trying to imply that maybe it's aliens behind it. Because
Aliens are like Satan.
all these clippings are clearly relevant, and somebody has been following this thing and is keeping an eye on it.
Somebody in Arizona
Somebody who
wasn't
left this package at
physically
your door.
following this thing. But if you knew there was a serial killing alien creature, would you just like go on a road trip and be like, I should be where this thing is? It's doing murders. Let's get all
Maybe they,
close.
maybe they've been waiting for an opportunity. I don't know. But somebody has put all this together and delivered it to us.
Which also means we possibly were being stalked.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, and which this begs the question, why us?
I'm gonna go get breakfast. And
anyone
then
else?
I'm gonna send some emails.
Yeah, go get a quiet breakfast.
A quiet
Yeah.
breakfast.
Time
I'm
to
gonna get a
think.
bagel.
Are we
Listen.
having the breakfast at the motel, or are we going into the actual town center here with like the San Carlos Center with Colorados, or
Yeah.
where are we having
Get a
breakfast?
Get a nice hot breakfast at the diner.
All right, yeah, that makes sense.
And as soon as everybody starts talking about body jumping aliens again, I'm like, you know what? I need to send some emails, so I'm gonna take my breakfast to go. I need to be away from you for like a good 20 minutes.
Bryony's now suspicious of DeLuca.
Oh,
Well, So I suppose that when we actually get back to the town center again, it will be closer to 8 in the morning.
I went to get breakfast 2 hours ago.
Oh, you know what?
Ate you all.
Um, like the first victim I know for sure, it's eating. Like they're finding traces of human blood inside of the host as well. Like there was evidence that he'd been eating people, and a lot of these disappearances have to deal with cannibalism.
So could it be that this thing was eating instead of creating?
Most likely.
I think the victims are, it's feeding off of them.
Well, it must have a big appetite because it's also causing the disappearances of other people. So, were there any new results with the autopsy?
I mean, you had the results yesterday. Yeah, at least some of the results. The tox report will take longer.
I like when I say I want to send emails, like she actually wants to send emails.
What
Because
kind
she
of
wants to-
emails is she sending?
She wants to request files on the cases mentioned in the newspapers.
Oh, yeah. Speaking of which, I mean, yeah, she can get some of that stuff. I'm sure. You're the feds after all, so you're sending it to all the different places. When Fenton gets back to Colorado's, provided he does, Colorado's will be looking up and from his coffee and say, I'll send a runner out this morning. Should be back by lunch, I hope. Any news on this, our latest victim? What was his name again? You said...
I forgot.
You forgot the name Braverman already?
So many names I've got in my head.
Yep.
Just lore dump on you.
That's what we do.
We haven't heard anything from state police yet. Hey, have you noticed any newcomers or anything in town?
Not really. Though I think everybody is a bit on edge right now, so... I think they would tell me if there was someone.
We received a strange package in the night.
Oh.
We're still trying to kind of look into it and figure out what's going on with it, but whoever left this, we think might be a person of interest. So if you could just have your people keep an eye out for anybody who is new to the area, let us know. It'd be appreciated.
Yeah, I mean, we have journalists around here, of course. Do we need to suspect them? You think?
It's hard to say. It seems like somebody's been following. It's possible this case is connected to a series of other cases. It seems like somebody has been following it very closely for some time now.
If that's the case, it will become a federal case, I suppose. But until we know for sure, it's going to stay a tribal and state police case, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. For now, yes.
Right. What information did we have on Braverman, you said?
We don't really have anything new on him. We know he's from Houston.
Oh, well, so you being the feds and all, I guess you've checked in with Houston?
Not yet. I asked the state police to do so, but I haven't been able to talk to them yet.
Right. Well, phone's over there, he says, and points to it. Whenever you have something new.
Yep. Guess I'll call the major and see if they were able to figure out if Braverman's been declared a missing person, or what's going on with him? How long he's been gone?
Indeed. And of course, I guess you maybe this is a case of the Major getting back at you a little bit for the whole not filling him in immediately.
God, he's such a bitch.
You like aren't usable anyway. Yeah, I called down to Houston PD. Though it's a bit weird that I'm doing this. You're the feds. I think we have a name for a suspect.
Go on.
Yeah, Mrs. Braverman. Gotta be.
Mrs. Braverman.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Is she missing as well?
Sure is.
What's the description we have on her? Do we have a picture? Can't they send
Yeah,
that
her
over
driver's
email or
license.
something? Is that anything?
Yeah, her driver's
Excellent.
license picture. Yeah, well, apparently he was, Mr. Braverman was the prime suspect in some kind of, basically a serial killer is what Houston told me. He was killing prostitutes. And he was a police officer. Houston PD found the partially cannibalized and bloodless remains of his 2 kids.
Oh,
Christ.
So he was one sick son of a bitch. Well, that's what they thought. But turns out our finding has turned everything upside down, right? Seems the wife has been doing the whole thing. She was thought to be kidnapped. The family car, that's the one we found.
Is it possible they were in on it together and she just turned on him?
Yeah, it is possible. Yeah, they could have been working together, I guess. I mean,
And also, sorry.
So this is Elaine Braverman we're looking for. It's obviously I mean, he could not have killed his wife, disposed of her body, mutilated himself, and buried his car. I mean, so I guess she did the burying.
Elaine. So once we get her picture and everything, I'm gonna make sure he gets to Colorado's people for a bolo, so have all his people on high lookout for her.
I want the copy of the autopsy report, and you guys, you get to the joy to send the autopsy and forensic reports down to Houston, and so on. Yeah.
To the group, when we're not on the phone and with people that think we're sounding crazy, I would say, do we know who our new host is?
Can I ask the officer something? Did Braverman come into contact with anybody from New Orleans or somebody named David Charles, perhaps?
You're asking Major Garrett? I don't have a clue. Didn't ask about that.
Okay. We'll have to follow up with that.
But you do have this clipping.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's when it jumped from him to Braverman.
It doesn't name Braverman as
No, but
the
it
police.
jumped. Well, it eventually got to Braverman somehow.
It could
They were
have.
both in Houston.
It could have jumped to Mrs. Braverman.
It could have, but it's always the host that ends up disemboweled. Now we got the disemboweled host, and we're missing Mrs. Braverman, so it makes sense that it moved from Mr. Braverman to Mrs. Braverman.
True. But it could also be possible that the thing is learning that it has kind of a modus operandi and wants to hide that.
Maybe.
But still, I think we should still consider Braverman as one of the infected, or previously infected, just with the possibility that this thing could be learning to throw us off.
We need to either find Miss Braverman, or the next. If we find her body disemboweled, then we know it's moved again.
Hey guys, I have a cool new idea.
Huh?
For the remainder of this case, I stay in my hotel room and make calls and send emails.
Uh-huh.
That's the
You
best
know,
idea.
like there's other cities now involved. We're gonna have to like coordinate like communication
Huh?
and the door locks. The internet is here.
Well, I mean, people know that you're here now. I mean, they sent you the package. So is it really safe to leave you alone in a hotel with no cameras when we're all off somewhere else?
I'll keep the shotgun.
I want to go to DeLuca's door and just tape a paper to it that says, "Dear package delivery man, we should talk,"
Oh.
and just have my phone number on it.
Need
Okay.
you.
I don't think that sends the message you want to send, Fenton.
I think it's more as like, hey, we should talk.
Yeah.
Well, I'm hoping he's willing to come speak with us. I mean, whoever they are, they're following this whatever it is, and they clearly want to help us.
True. I'm just saying, you might send the wrong message to the wrong person.
No, that's true, but we'll deal with that when that comes.
Yeah, I get that that's like the least of our problems right now. I'm just saying. Could be a problem.
Maybe one of the journalists. It would make sense if it was a journalist.
True. If it was a journalist, maybe they'll know who's here. I know the note doesn't do that, but maybe. But if it was a journalist, wouldn't they need to work within the confines of their publisher?
Not necessarily. Could be an independent journalist.
Perhaps. I wonder if there's a way to figure out if there are any independent journalists here.
I could maybe do that on the internet.
Okay.
I say as I look for any reason to stay in my room on my computer.
Hold on, you can't just
Of
find
course.
independent journalists near me.
It might be like smart. They might be getting ahead of like the trends. They might have a website.
Uh,
You can't fool me.
that
Everybody's
actually,
gonna have a website in like 3 years. I
actually,
have a website.
she might be onto something. What if this is a journalist that's been following it, and they do have a blog, something like that, or a conspiracy theory website?
Sure, let's look, I guess.
Might
Is
as well.
DeLuca gonna stay by the computer and work the computer science to explore the internets for aliens?
Yeah, she's gonna do that, but she's also gonna be like making calls, like sending emails to like Houston for more information about the whole prostitute murder thing,
Mm-hmm. That makes sense.
and waiting for replies to the email she sent last night.
Faxes! Faxes! You will get faxes from various police departments, won't you?
It's like, yes, this is where I should be. I don't know
No.
why I ever went outside in the first place.
You're the gal in the chair.
Hair is beautiful. I love the chair.
The chair, yes. That is your
Don't
natural
know why I
habitat.
would ever stand.
One thing that is sound suggested.
I can't hear you.
Hello. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yep.
It's a bit.
One thing too that
There we go. That's better.
this might be suggesting, if this started in West Virginia, maybe there is a second entity, the Fox Spirit, that now is reacting to this thing invading on its territory. Like, didn't the mythology say that the Fox Spirit likes to seek out other monsters to fight or something?
did
mean,
have
we're-
something about fighting.
I mean,
So
where
maybe-
I come from, there is no shortage of other monsters and hillside terrors, so would make sense.
So maybe there is a second entity, the Spock spirit, that's reacting and responding to, you know, this what alien from space thingy, what it's doing in the area.
Maybe.
Oh, Pennsylvania. Darn it.
When do these elders get back?
We're waiting for them. What are we doing in the morning aside from that? Like, Gutierrez, Blair could help working on the tox report if you want. How about your pharmacy? No, yes, pharmacy is a skill you have.
Yep. So there it is.
You succeed with something!
Oh, finally.
How does it make you feel?
Feels good.
Yeah, should. Excellent. Well then, you know what? I have a feeling that you will actually find some evidence. Okay. Right. So, yeah, you are going through Braverman's, some tests here, chemistry tests, blood chemistry, basically. I don't know if that's pharmacy or medicine, but in either case, you rolled good enough to succeed in either, didn't you? So, yeah, his body, as it turns out, is riddled with adrenochrome.
You made that up.
Nope.
What?
Adrenochrome is an actual thing.
I don't believe you.
Okay. It's the stuff that I'm gonna just... There we go. It's produced when the adrenaline hormone initiates the physical changes required by the human flight or fight response to danger.
And that's
So-
different from adrenaline because scientists were bored and needed to
Yeah.
come up with a new thing to write.
Well, adrenaline starts doing things to the body, and one of the products of that is adrenochrome. So Braverman was absolutely shock-filled with adrenaline at some point.
Did he take an EpiPen?
What was that?
Did he ever have to use an EpiPen? No, this is a serious question here.
Hell of an EpiPen.
Does this creature know about EpiPens? Serious question.
I think more likely is the creature was, connected into his adrenal gland and just pumping his body full of it.
True. But also, this
But
thing
he could have
could
also
know-
been jabbing himself with a shitload of EpiPens. I just...
This thing could know about EpiPens. And just be losing it on epinephrine. Like,
We will keep that theory in mind.
it would explain
Getting
the
high off
puncture wounds, though.
EpiPens, I'm mad because those things are expensive. And there are people out here like, I can't afford my EpiPen. And this alien is just like, I have all of the EpiPens.
The alien is driving up demand. Not demand. It's driving down supply. It would also explain the puncture wounds if it was just, taking apart several EpiPens like those G2 pilot pens and then just injecting itself with enough epinephrine to, I don't know, kill a horse.
So I think what you're suggesting here is that Big Pharma is actually behind all this.
Yes, I am. And I
Oh
say
my
this
God.
as Phryne. I think Big Pharma is behind these murders. I think the creature has one hell of an insurance card.
I think that is a very good theory, and we should definitely keep it in mind going forward.
DeLuca, you are working the internet, so roll a computer science check. What?
Whoa.
DeLuca
I'm
found
good
the
at the
blog.
internet. I'm never leaving this room again.
You're never leaving the room again.
It turns out she found the aliens blog.
I found a website that just has the entire plot of the scenario written out in neat bullet points.
You found the aliens, like, shopping cart of EpiPen.
You find, gonna say, well, there's a bunch of stuff you're gonna find, obviously. Wow, where do I begin? You find everything.
You found the alien. It's in your computer. Your computer's
Clearly.
the host.
Well, the number of, let's see now, the number of victims in total. So, it's gonna be 9 people in West Virginia, right? It's gonna be 21 people disappearing in Tennessee, in Nashville. In New Orleans, well, disappearances again. Well, let's just... How do I do this?
You can tell us the answer. It's fine.
I can do like this. I'm gonna do like this. This is gonna be the longest block of text Carol has ever received. There you go.
Okay. Cattle mutilations. Okay.
This is police reports and whatnot now.
Missing homeless people. That's so many people in 3 weeks. It really says something about how we treat homeless people in this country.
Well, DeLuca's working on all that. Meanwhile, because this is going to take a while as she's going through everything, and also, I think I'm going to give you another whisper.
Can I walk down to the local pharmacy to ask if they have recently filled a prescription for an EpiPen? Or
You
any
can
other
absolutely do
related
that,
drugs?
and they're going to say, let's see now, EpiPens... They're going to have a lot of diabetes, probably. Some diabetes on the reservation, but I don't remember that requires an EpiPen. That's
No,
insulin, not
Yeah.
adrenaline.
No, it doesn't.
Insulin
Insulin,
going to be
adrenaline, different things.
asthmatic and
Yeah.
extreme allergies.
So,
So, you haven't filled out any drugs that would, that contain epinephrine or would mimic the effects of it?
I mean, do you have a warrant? That's the question here, because if you want to access medical records on a pharmacy, that's confidential unless you have a unless you have a warrant.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Sorry. I forgot that. I don't know why I still work here. Kind of awkwardly walk out of the pharmacy.
Yeah, here's the question though, Talbot. As you're thinking about this whole thing about the pharmacy, and I mean, you don't have to go there physically. You can, I'm sure someone can. Maybe you will recall that given your intelligence of 15, you know, before you get to that place. So, here's the thing. If you want to have a warrant for things like that, that requires submitting evidence to a judge to prove the merits of following that particular trail. Do we want to get a judge involved with all the weird chemistry stuff here?
I think just submitting the evidence of high amounts of adrenochrome could be enough, leaving out and mentioning the puncture wounds. And leaving out all of the, like, we think this thing crash landed in West Virginia and has been responsible for about 100 disappearances. If we just left that out of the warrant, it would probably be best.
Yeah, a judge might be a bit skeptical to the whole we're chasing an alien thing.
Yeah, I think if we just kept it to there's a high amount of adrenochrome, which is a result of adrenaline, also known as epinephrine.
Yep.
And we found puncture wounds, which could have been caused by an EpiPen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes sense actually. Okay, Talbot. Bureaucracy check.
Oh no.
DeLuca's busy.
Oh.
I'm sorry. She's surfing the webs.
No. Can I just like put the papers onto Luca's desk? Like, please. Please.
I mean,
Please
Nope.
I have
pause
a 50 in it.
This is
I
your
could
job
try.
now.
Okay.
I love it if you manage to, you know, not cross that particular box and so on. Oh, look at that. This goes well. You're gonna fill out the form correctly, and there we have it.
Yay.
You're definitely gonna be able to get the warrant. It's not gonna come immediately, but, I mean, on the other hand, if this is a serial killer afoot, you know, it's gonna be expedited, but it's gonna still take a few hours to get it.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Colorado's will come up to you just after lunch, I guess, unless Fenton and Blair wants to do. Blair has been doing the talk screen. DeLuca is on internet duty. Talbot is sending warrants. What is Fenton doing during the morning then?
Benson's been kind of going around town asking if anybody's seen Miss Braverman. Yeah, I remember the name. And
yes.
also just kind of keeping his eye out for any outsiders that seem to be watching him or anything like that.
Well, feel free to roll an alertness check then, I guess.
Hey, I am
That is your
very
best.
bad.
That is your best dice. Alertness is like you're so good at alertness. Nothing escapes. Eagle-eyed Fenton. Oh, look at
Darn
that.
tootin', nothing does.
That is a good roll. That's a good roll. So opposed rolls in this game, speaking of, work like this. It's like a blackjack system, so you want to get as close to your target number as possible. So you're 9 off, which is not bad.
Did you just imply that there's somebody out there trying not to be alerting Brian Fenton?
Not at all. Why would I ever
Oh no.
imply anything of the kind?
And he failed his check, so. Right?
Maybe. Maybe not.
Maybe, yeah.
I think, Mr. Fenton, as you're walking around there, like, you're doing a door-to-door. You know what? Have we presented the whole thing about Mrs. Braverman to Colorado's?
Yes. I
Okay.
told him earlier.
Then he will send a deputy with you. because it's probably going to go easier for you if you go with an actual deputy. Then they won't go like, who are you?
Right.
Yeah.
It will be racist.
So, yeah, the deputy will go with you, and they're just going to basically shake their heads. Nobody around here says that they have seen Mrs. Braverman. You can see in the distance, far off to the east somewhere, up in the sky, chopper.
Like, can I make out if it's a police helicopter, a news helicopter?
It's neither, as far as you can tell. It's hard from this distance.
Is it a
But
black helicopter?
It seems like a black helicopter. It doesn't have
Oh,
like
God
the
damn
state
it.
patrol
Men in Black.
markings.
It's Men in Black.
Hmm?
It's the
Hey,
Men
at
in
least
Black.
it's identified. It
Just
could
gotta-
be unidentified.
Just gotta
Maybe.
kinda stare at it.
Fenton, I hate to break it to you, but I think we are the Men in Black at this point.
Not yet. I'm just gonna stare at it. What's it doing? Is it just kind of hovering in the area? Does it look like it's searching or scanning for something, or is it just staying a helicopter up in the sky?
It's going in, some kind of maybe a search pattern of some kind, and then it's just disappearing into the distance in the east.
Hmm. It's Men in Black. Aliens, Men in Black, confirmed. Okay, well, that's what Fenton's doing.
Well, after lunch, everybody has eaten something. Colorados will come up to you and go like, oh, they should have been back from that cave by now. Anyone want to come with me up there, check things out? I'm getting a bit jittery with all this stuff.
I'll go.
Yeah, I'll go.
I'll go too.
Before we head out, Colorado's, do you guys have some spare ballistic vests we could borrow?
Ballistic vests out here. He kind of...
I mean, don't your
Chuckles.
deputies have vests and stuff?
Yeah, we do.
Didn't we bring some? Wasn't that part of like the list of stuff? We're like, yeah, we're bringing that.
I don't remember.
Yeah,
if we
I thought
vests,
so.
Would
Maybe
make
they-
sense, I suppose. We're
Sounds like we
suspecting
did.
gunplay?
When
He
we got
says-
the shotguns and whatnot.
That makes sense. Okay, so we got our FBI vest. Cute,
No, you didn't. You have to requisition those. It's on a case-by-case basis. So if you want from the FBI, you will have to fill out some forms and requisition them. And that's going to take several hours because it's going to it's going to come here by the end of the day, I guess. Like you can fax something in now and then it would be sent out and it's going to be here in like 4 or 5 hours. So
Are you saying I should stay here and make sure that paperwork went through correctly?
I'm saying
Or well,
we just borrow
you
stuff
know
from
what?
Colorado's.
I'm going to say, because I'm a mean and cruel-hearted handler, that there's not going to be enough of those vests around. There might be... Well, you're lucky. There's going to be 5 vests around. So, I guess, who's going to go to the Sacred Cave?
I'm going.
I'm going. Shouldn't we
I'm
all
going.
Talbot,
be a
Fenton,
team?
Blair, do you want to go?
Yep.
Blair?
DeLuca.
It depends on where I am in my efforts to get materials. Because after
You're going to work all day, right?
after I got the information, it occurred to me, like it clicked to me that the Houston murders started 2 months ago. 2 months is very, very similar to 8 weeks ago.
You know what? That might be true, yeah.
And now I need to know if the
Roll a
other
luck check.
people.
Roll a luck check. Let's see if you're lost in UFO groups or if you are actually onto that particular piece. Well, apparently you do know this piece. So, yeah.
So now I need to know if the other people who potentially did all the murders had chest wounds prior to their death.
Well,
And
you're
if
working on
finding
it.
out that information means I can't go to the sacred land, I suppose that sacrifice.
Sorry, guys. Internet stuff. You know how slow this is? What kind of modem did you even have in 1994? I can't remember.
I show up to her room, all the lights are off. It's just the glow of like the computer screen.
Right?
She's like,
let's see now. In 1994, the maximum speed for a modem was 28.8 kilobits per second. Yes, I remember that. I had like a 14.4 modem at a point. That was so slow.
All right.
We were
You
so
stay in
happy
your
when we got the
room.
28.8 because now it was really fast. Anyway, so a deputy will come then instead of DeLuca, who is busy with her computer. Colorado's doesn't understand computers at all. He's from the older generation, you know. He was young in like the 60s and 70s.
Sacred Spirit Cave team. Who wants a shotgun and who wants a rifle?
I'll take both.
Well, I think you should take one and we take the other two.
I really think I should have 2 weapons.
You do. You have your sidearm.
I think I should have 3 in that
Do you
case.
want a shotgun or a rifle?
I'll take a shotgun.
A shotgun.
You
Very
want
well.
the rifle or the shotgun, Blair?
I guess rifle?
All right. I guess that leaves the shotgun for me.
Very well. And you have a shotgun. And of course, your friends will have the deputy and Colorado's. Who should have the rifle and who should have the shotgun?
I feel like rifle's a Colorado's gun.
Seems like it, right? And the deputy with a shotgun. That makes sense to me. Alright, well, he's also going to recommend you guys to pack, like, hats, lots of water, be sure to have sturdy boots, you don't want to step on a rattlesnake, all that sort of thing.
yep, definitely. Guys, I'm sad. I'm sad I'm not going with you to the rattlesnake ridden outside.
Yeah, I'll be kitted out with like field stuff, you know, nice field pants, dress button shirt, and then the FBI jacket and hat.
Yeah. That makes sense. Alright, so out we go into the desert again.
Oh, really?
It's almost like you've done this before. You know, going out into the desert. But this time, DeLuca is not with you. Sad.
She's the
Because
best shot
DeLuca
too.
is smart.
She's gonna be like, yeah, I'll report you. I'll talk to your family when...
It'll be sad when you're all
Guys, I made such a breakthrough. Guys?
Guys?
Finally found what the afterlife is like.
Exactly. Anyway, yeah, we're gonna go out into the desert. And it's scorching hot, of course, as always. Because, you know, we're doing this just after noon, which is the perfect time to go into the desert. Yeah. The crickets will warn you of the heat, let's just say. And you are making your way up towards one of these kinds of bluffs, really. It's, it's a cave, so it's going to be in the mountains. You're going to drive for a little while first, and we're going to use... I guess you can use one of your cars, and they will use a proper four-wheel drive truck or hatchback of some kind, and get you as close as the cave as possible. And from there, it's on foot. Basically on, like, animal trails. You'll be walking more or less single file. And it's going to take a while to get yourselves up there. Stopping now and then for a bit of water and a bit of a break, taking a bit of a breath. Human checks from everyone, please.
Nope.
Not at all today.
Oh my god.
It's hot.
It's hot. Well, nobody fumbled at least, so that's a good thing, isn't it? For some reason, human is one of those skills that very much increases during a Delta Green campaign. Who knew why? Well, up we go. And sometimes, I guess, Colorados and the deputy will talk to each other in their native language. Sometimes they will talk to you guys and, you know, just to make sure that you're keeping up and so on. We have some good constitutions here. Don't we? Oh, yeah, let's see now. Yeah, some of you have some constitution. Brian Fenton, why don't you... everybody roll a constitution check. Let's see how dehydrated you might get. Or tired or exhausted from the heat.
My god.
Fenton is not doing well, is he?
It's not get this hot here. I'm from Massachusetts. It doesn't get this hot here.
Right?
Why would
Fenton
you
and
ever
Blair.
go
It's just so hot out here. You're sweating buckets. You're... You know what? I can actually mitigate that with a successful survival check. Go ahead.
Okay.
It's your best roll, isn't it? Survival.
Oh. Oh.
That was so close, Blair. That was not close at all, Fenton.
Not good at survival.
Oh, sorry, I did a -20 before, so it should actually be a success, which means that you are not, in fact, exhausted, Blair. Sorry about that.
Thank god.
Yeah, I
It's
clicked the
okay.
exhausted first. Whereas Fenton, I mean, you rolled a 72, so you would not
I'm
have
exhausted.
rolled under your 10. Sorry about clicking the exhausted too early. I jumped the gun there. But Fenton is definitely sweating buckets, and this is... Yeah, you're a Yankee. You are not used to this kind of weather and this kind of climate. I mean, it's a dry heat, but...
Yeah,
It's
I've been
just-
in the desert. Dry means nothing. 105
Yeah.
degrees is still 105 degrees. Y'all are just crazy.
Having
Yeah,
lived
I feel
both
like
by
maybe
the
Luca had
coast,
the right idea.
having lived both by the coast and on the prairies, I will take 105 degrees in the prairies over 105 degrees by the coast any day. But that's just me.
Can I
It's still 105 degrees.
Without
It's like,
the 90%
oh, I got
humidex.
stabbed in the kidneys instead of the heart. It was so much better.
I guess.
if I share my water with Fenton, is he no longer dehydrated?
You know what? Why don't you also roll a survival check here? Maybe you can help Fenton not be dehydrated. I'll allow it because I'm a generous and magnanimous handler.
I should get my mouth shut.
So close. A 51. That was just
Third time today
teasing,
somebody
wasn't it?
rolled one above their thing.
I just like pour water on his head. Like, does that work? I don't know.
It
like-
actually does. It doesn't, but it does.
It worked really well. And, well, we keep marching up there and it's gonna be great, isn't it? For absolutely no reason. why don't we all roll an alertness check?
God, a rattlesnake's gonna bite me.
For absolutely no reason.
It's so hot. That's all I can think.
It sure is that. Well, you will have very little warning when Colorado's suddenly shouts, "Get down!" And then you hear a shot ring out. And thanks to the fact that Colorado shouts this, I guess everybody can roll a dodge check.
Oh no.
Dodge, huh? Ooh, that's not gonna be good.
Oh god.
Wait, did I fail my alertness check?
Oh.
Oh no. Oh.
Oh,
You
no.
didn't, but you didn't succeed well enough because it's an opposed check. What?
Oh. Do I just die?
You just dive into the bullet, clearly. No, you didn't. Because I
was
rolled
joking,
for...
getting stabbed in the kidneys.
I rolled for the deputized volunteer, too. So, you know, it's two people here.
Yeah, but like I've got a 100%. It's like
That is
three
an
times
amazing failure.
failure.
There's no doubt about
That
that.
that is triple the failure.
It is.
Was it-
It's impressive. So, yeah, how was Blair doing here with a... You failed too. Everybody fails. It's going great. What kind of fumble do we have here, Talbot? Do you want to roll on the table, or should I just tell you?
Or
do you wanna pick one?
I don't know what my options are, so I'm gonna take a look at the table.
Go ahead and look at the table. Yeah.
Roll, it's always funnier.
I'm gonna take confusion and
Very well. You
I
make a
think-
major error.
I think that the person is directly ahead of us, so I run away from the rest of the group.
Very well. We'll get to that in a moment. Because you're not the only one who does a critical failure, which unfortunately for the deputized, the volunteer here, is I don't know how well that's gonna go for him. It's gonna go great.
His head explodes. Oh.
Oh, he got shot.
Basically, maybe. Let's see what kind of... I'm gonna roll the fumble for him. Let's just say. Oh, he's also confused. Good for him.
He thinks we shot him.
No, he's drawing the same conclusion as Talbot, probably. But, yeah, he is also taking a shot, as it were. Oh, you all had vests, didn't you? Because we have 5 vests here. You're well prepared, aren't we?
Yes.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
cheating. In my view, that's just cheating.
I choose to believe that because she ran off in that direction, this guy is gonna be like, aha, she saw something and followed her.
Not at all. Yeah, probably. Oh, you had already added the vest. It's gonna be a regular vest this time, not reinforced. You think they have reinforced vest on the reservation? You're funny. But yeah, this guy, he's actually taking a shot where the vest isn't. It grazes his head, bam, and he just falls over to the ground, and he's lying down. There is blood. There is he basically goes down almost like a sack of potatoes, just falling over. And yeah, that was a moment, wasn't it?
Oh,
The
no.
shot ran out from just ahead, according to everybody except for your deputy friend, and the Luke isn't even here.
Not deputy friendly.
Yeah.
He was 2 days from retirement.
Wait, do I hear things? Am I like far enough ahead that I don't, or am I still in this?
I mean, this is looking up towards the cave that Santos is pointing towards. That's like 300 yards away or something. And I'm going to say that Talbot concludes that the shot came from over... I'm going to make a marking like here. Let's make it in red so you actually can see it properly. Like that. Why didn't it update accordingly? I don't know, but... Oh. I wanted the lines to be in red. There. No? Red, please? Thank you. There we go. So, over here... That's your guess, Talbot, and apparently it is also the deputy's. The slope ahead of you is rocky, scrublands. I think the rest of you conclude that, you know, it came from where this arrow is pointing.
Gotcha.
So Talbot is actually first.
Yay! Who are we fighting?
You have no idea. You can't see anything up there, except you're absolutely sure that you saw a puff of smoke, maybe, from, you know, a rifle or something like that.
I just kind of shout back, like, Yin's okay? Like, Yin's alive? All good? And that's how I spend my turn.
Very well. Are we all lying down here? I think we're all lying down, aren't we?
Yeah, bro.
Oh.
I'm not a coward. I am standing at the top of that ridge, yelling at everybody.
Oh, you're not lying down? Everybody else is lying down?
I'm standing at the top of the ridge thinking, you know...
Oh,
I
because
found where the
you have
shot
cover from the... Oh, you have cover from the wrong side.
Yeah. Like, what's going on? Where is everybody?
Right?
Like that. Yeah.
Which is great. Colorado's going to see that. I mean, we're all in a small bunch here, really. And he's going to run over to you and basically just grab you and pull you down. And I'm going to make that an unarmed combat check. Unless, in case you want to resist that. Otherwise, he's going to just do it.
He's doing this to me?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Get down,
okay.
you fool!
Okay, then I'm getting down willingly. No check needed.
Yeah, okay. So, yeah. We're just both going to... That's going to be his turn because you... Which makes sense with your failure, right? So you basically wasted Colorado's time as well because he needed to help you. You can't hear any... You can hear maybe a grunt or a groan from your volunteer, your deputy. But not much more than that. So maybe he is still alive? Well, we'll find out, won't we? So, let's see now. It's... The range here... You heard the shot, right? That was some kind of firearm. Possibly a rifle. How good are we at fighting here around? None of you are particularly, you know, weapons focused, let's say. Right?
Yeah. I can shoot, but I'm not the best at it.
Right?
Yeah.
So
Also
we have... A rifle would have a range of about 100 yards, something like that, as a base range. It's about 300 yards up to the cave, so it's not an impossible shot from over there to hit one of you guys when you're standing up and being, obviously visible. But this time we have people who are dodged and hid behind various rocks and whatnot, so I'm having a feeling it's going to be a bit extra challenging. Yeah, right now you can't hear anything from over there. Fenton, what do you want to do?
Is it reasonable to assume that being out here...
What?
Would it be reasonable to assume that we'd have a pair of binoculars?
Sure, why not?
Spencer would like to take a look through the binoculars up towards
Well,
the
let's
cave
see now.
where-
A pair of binoculars. Why don't you roll the luck check and see if you have it or not? Maybe someone else is carrying them.
Sure. Luck. Where is the luck one again?
That is the
Oh, there it
black
is.
little border on top. Look at that! You definitely are
Oh.
carrying the binoculars. There's no doubt about that. With that roll,
like,
you have all the binoculars and all the everything.
I would like to use the binoculars to look. Yeah, I think you said we thought it was coming from this direction. Those of us that weren't confused. So
Yep.
I'm gonna try and see if I can find the shooter.
That means popping your head up a bit, doesn't it? From behind whatever rock you're hiding behind.
Suppose it does.
It does. Alright, but you are using your alertness. I'm gonna give you a good plus 20 for having binoculars. Definitely helps.
So it's a nice even alertness check then. Because I'm at minus 20.
Oh yes,
Doesn't
yes
matter.
indeed, because you're so tired. Yeah, you
Doesn't
can't
matter.
make out anything up there. It's just a black hole into the wall of the mountain, basically. Not a very big hole, mind you. Looking through your binoculars, you'd probably have to go single file into that crack. Blair?
I'm just gonna crawl to the deputy and see if I can help him.
That might just be a good idea. Alright, we're crawling over there. Why don't you do a first aid check? You're made for this, aren't you?
Yes, I am. This better work. And it works.
Good for you. This is good things. So, yeah, this person is definitely wounded. Just looking over, he was lucky or the shot was slightly unlucky. So someone over by that cave from almost 300 yards managed to hit the deputy in the head, cutting up one of the ears really badly. One, quarter inch to the left, and the deputy would have been no more. It would have been a, one shot, one kill situation. Thanks to your amazing intervention here, though, this deputy will live to fight another day, and you can roll a d4 to heal some hit points for this person.
Hey.
Nice! You're a pro, aren't you? This deputy's back up over half the hit points. So you're just your doctor's bag is being produced, jamming some morphine into the leg, wrapping the head properly. I think this person is going to make a recovery. And we'll find out next turn, which we will play. I'm going to be devilish here and say we will find out about this next week. How about we leave it on a cliffhanger? You're lying, everybody's lying down. You're hundreds of yards away from the sacred cave. Someone just took a shot at you, and whoever it is seems to be pretty handy with a rifle. Though it's not an impossible shot. If you're aiming and it's yard is double, it's minus 20 for the yard for the range for base range of the rifle. If you aim a little bit, you negate the -20. So for basically, I guess, any one of you, it's a manageable shot, 50-50, something like that. Unless it was a called shot trying to avoid the vest, in which case it's a very good shot. We'll find out, won't we? So, yeah, in a week we will see if anybody survives this moment with a bad guy with a rifle. Thank you.
I plan on surviving.
DeLuca is safe because she is by her computer. So thank you, audience, for watching Delta Green, Puppet Shows and Shadow Plays. Remember, to join Delta Green, you subscribe to the channel, you subscribe to YouTube, click the bell, you communicate with ACEL, and we will see you all next time.